Now listening to Freshly Squeezed.
Well, hello there. This is Freshly Squeezed, a new music podcast. I'm Jim, and cheers for your ears. Getting in nice and early this week. So, what's this podcast about? It's about new music. Every week, tunes and chat from 3 artists that are emerging on the UK music scene and occasionally beyond. And, well, I say occasionally. Today we are definitely going beyond the borders of this sceptred isle. Because this week we've got acts from Belgium, France and Liverpool. Anyway, so first off, we're going to go to France and we're going to be chatting to the ace, a.gris. Sounds like this. a.gris, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that horribly, is a solo project from the frontman of the French indie rock act Horses, who are also very cool and definitely worth checking out. We'll get on to that shortly. Our sole UK representative this week comes from the awesome Paul Nazole. The ship starts to sink, no thoughts left to think. Even with that one, which has got a really Merseyside feel to the music, we're keeping it slightly continental with the name Nazole, very Italian. And we're starting off our European journey this week in Belgium with a band that don't really sound like they're from that part of the world at all, in terms of the name or in terms of how they sound musically. This is a taste of the Bernadette Maries brand new tune, The Closer You Look.
Don't you look into my eyes, there's better place to live. Don't you look into my eyes, there's better place to live. Don't you look into my eyes, there's better place to live. Don't you look into my eyes. Don't you look into my eyes, there's better place to live. Don't you look into my eyes, there's better place to live. Don't you look into my eyes, there's better place to live. Don't you look into my eyes.
That was the Bernadette Maries from Belgium, and Guy is the main man there. How you doing, mate? Cheers for coming on.
Hey, I'm doing good, Jim. Thank you. What about you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. So I'm going to start off because I know absolutely nothing about the Belgian music scene at all. I think you're the first Belgian band I've spoken to on Freshly Squeezed. What's it like in the world of indie rock out there? Is there much going on? Is there much of a scene?
I would say Belgian music is maybe not focused on indie music as you guys have in the UK or in the US, but we have quite a few very nice acts here, especially in Brussels and the Flemish part. I don't know if you're aware that we speak like 3 languages in Belgium, but there's a few ones that are extremely good. A band like Stonks that is quite young but amazing, yeah.
Does that mean when you're kind of looking for gigs or playing live, like if you go to the UK where I am in Manchester, you walk down the street, you pass 3-4 music venues where up-and-coming artists can play. Is that more difficult to find when you're emerging in Belgium?
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm based in Brussels, which is like a very international capital, and there is a few venues. Like maybe you've heard of one. It's called the Botanique. But no, there is definitely a few places to play rock show. I would say there's never enough, but there definitely is.
Always room for more.
Yeah, of course.
When you listen to your music, it feels very influenced by the UK. You sing in what sounds a little bit like a London accent, maybe. You can also hear a lot of the 90s grunge scene in your music. The chord progression on the tune we're playing, The Closer You Look, very reminiscent of Smashing Pumpkins. I know they're not UK, but they're kind of within that scene. Is that the music that you would have been listening to when you were growing up, when you were kind of forming your musical opinions?
Well, actually, I started listening to the Smashing Pumpkins very early in my life. That is true. And it's a band that I really love. I'm not sure if it was like a direct influence for the song The Closer You Look. But yeah, I grew up with grunge music. I was born in 86. And I think the very first band I ever listened to was a band from Australia called Silverchair. I was, 10 years old. And before that, I was not really into music. And my best friend, Thomas, brought me a tape. It was their second album, Freak Show. it's still very vivid souvenir. I remember the first time I played it, and it really changed something in my brain, like something chemical. And from that time, I would say that I'm not sure it's like only grunge music, but like UK music is like my sensitive string from that time. So yeah, I'm definitely influenced by a UK band. As for the accent, it's such a shame because actually I don't know what accent I'm doing when I sing. It's not something I try to mimic or whatsoever. It's just what comes, and it's actually a thing we talk about sometimes. Like maybe that sentence I pronounce it like in like more a US way to speak English, and sometimes it's maybe more UK. But yeah.
Well, in the UK, we have a new accent every couple of miles. It's very.
Which is amazing. I will never sing with the Belgian accent. That would be a shame.
Why, like you always already mentioned the amount of languages you speak in Belgium. Why do you write and why do you sing in English? Is it just kind of easier to communicate? Is it looking at a kind of broader market? What's the reasoning behind that rather than maybe singing in your native tongue?
Yeah, I think as so French is my mother tongue, as you might have guessed, but it's very hard for me to write in French. I tried. The exercise is very hard because it's very much there. You know, there's nothing to hide behind. I feel like writing in English, it's just like adding some distortion to my guitar sound, you know? It's just like an effect that I like. And I always thought that English is a language that works pretty well with the music I like, the music I want to play. You know, French, you don't say the same thing the same way in French. And yeah, definitely English is to me a way to go. Even though I know it might sound weird because it's not my mother tongue, but maybe that's the influence of most of the band I listen to. I listen to a lot of French artists, but it's just like something I can hide behind.
I read in a previous interview, and I might have got this wrong because the interview was translated from French to English, but do you write a lot of your songs on a bass guitar in the first instance? Is that kind of often the starting point when you're writing?
I do, Jim. I do. And for this one, especially the closer you look, I just bought like 6 months ago a bass 6, which is like a model that Fender does. It's a mix of a bass guitar and a proper guitar. So there is 6 strings. It's not as thick as a bass, but it's definitely thicker than a guitar. And the sound it produces like it's a good way between bass and guitar. You know, the voicing is just like very specific. And yeah, I like to write with a bass. There is on the album that we're going to release by May, I think half of the song have been written with a bass.
That feels like an unusual way to start a song in terms of composition. Most, I think, artists start on an acoustic guitar or they start with lyrics. What are the benefits to starting, or what do you see as the benefits to starting composition on a bass?
I guess, you know, it's not always the case, but I feel that maybe the spine of a good song, or at least a song, is like the drum, the bass, and the vocal. I remember listening for the first time to She Lost Control by Joy Division. And you know, like that bass line in the high part of the instrument, I was like, oh, so you can do that. You don't have to write like the basic chords on your acoustic guitar or like to do the chords on the piano. You can start with that instrument, and the drive that it produced really amazed me. I really love it. The harmonics that playing harmonic stuff on the bass produces, I love it.
Well, it's certainly working for you. Before I let you go, Guy, we are very lucky to have on Freshly Squeezed new music Santa. Say hello, Santa.
Hello, Jim. And hello, Guy. Now, are you on the good list?
A very important question. Guy, have you been a good boy?
I try to, Jim, but I'm not the one who can say that.
Well, we'll assume you are for the purposes of this. Anything else, Santa?
If I could make a Christmas wish come true for you for 2026, what would that be?
Oh, that's a hard one. I can be selfish on that one and say like, I wish we'll come to play in the UK as soon as we can with the Bernadette Maries. That would be a good one, but okay, no, let's just go for that one. we really hope to come to the UK for a few gigs. So that will be my wish.
Nice one. We'll make sure we're there if that happens. Guy, cheers for popping on.
Don't you look into my eyes, there's better place to live. Don't you look into my eyes, there's better place to live. Don't you look into my eyes, there's better place to live. Don't you look into my eyes. Don't you know, don't you know there's better place. Don't you know, don't you know there's better place.
Keeping it local-ish next on Freshly Squeezed. After going to Belgium and in a bit we're going to France, but for a start, well, Paul Nazole might sound like he's an Italian poet, but born and raised in Liverpool, and he's got a new tune called Nebuchadnezzar out, and he joins the pod. You good, Paul?
Yeah, all good, thanks, Jim. You alright?
Yeah, I'm good, Tar. So I need to start with the name of the song. You're making it difficult for people to Google it for a start, but for me, that as a word, there's kind of two meanings to it, obviously. King of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, or more commonly, I think people know it as a really massive bottle of champagne.
Yeah,
So how does the song fit with those two meanings?
I think it's also the spaceship in the Matrix, actually.
Oh,
The movie.
okay.
That's not where I got it from. That was the Babylonian king. And it's just, honestly, it was just that I like mythology and stuff like that. You know, I often get a lot of inspiration for lyrics and stuff reading stuff around that, you know. I found that whole story about this Nebuchadnezzar who had this dream that tormented him. And I liked it, you know, and I had this line playing around, just hounded forever like Nebuchadnezzar. And that was really all it started as. It wasn't really even, something I was consciously writing or anything. But the song itself was one of those ones that like just sort of comes out the blue, entirely written just from that line. I think I had an argument with a girl I'd been seeing, and then we'd made up, and it was like the relief of that. I got off the phone and picked the guitar up, and then this whole song came out in one go, you know, and that little rhyme just sort of set the meter of it and everything, you know. But you get these songs that, like, for me, and I think a few other people have talked about, you know, a lot of songwriters I've looked at on YouTube on interviews with Bob Dylan or Keith Richards or Lee Mavers, they've often said, you know, a lot of the best songs seem to just come out of nowhere, and you can't just sit down and turn it on. I know the songs you have to craft, but that was one of those ones that just all spilled out just from that first line, really.
When you have a line like that, particularly if it contains a word like Nebuchadnezzar, do you kind of get that itch and you just go, well, I've got to get this into a song. I've got to write this. I've got to get it in the world, because I bet no one's ever used Nebuchadnezzar in a tune before.
Yeah, I guess not. No, I'm not sure. I think maybe there are a few others actually when I've like searched on Spotify and stuff. But yeah, I think some words have like a bit of music to them, and for me, when I write, I like poetry. I like rhyme and poetry. I like modernist sort of poetry as well, but I think there's something really lovely about rhyme and poetry. It's like nice to recite. It's easy to remember and stuff, you know. And some words have like a bit of a meter, so that's like a Nebuchadnezzar, you know, it's a little rhythm to it, and that helps them because like that one word's kind of long, so you've got a couple of beats in it, and it means like the next bit might be a phrase, but you also land the rhyme on the end of it, and that's what I love to do. Like when you can say exactly what you're trying to say, or not even if it's so intentional, but you know, you've got the sentiment that you're trying to express, but the rhymes land really nicely as well. I think that's quite challenging, and I think it makes for nice music.
Your music, I think in general, has got quite a retro feel to it. And when I was listening to some of your back catalogue, like instant musical references to the likes of Bob Dylan in there. But for this tune, it feels very Beatles inspired. And I guess it's really difficult to find bands in general, but especially bands from Liverpool who don't have some kind of Beatles DNA in their music somewhere.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But it feels like here you've taken a real decision to put that front and centre.
Yeah, I think you know, like I absolutely love the Beatles. I'm not like a Beatles fanatic though, you know, like fawning over Paul McCartney's school fucking shoes or whatever it is, you know. But at the same time, I really like Lennon. I really like his approach to songwriting, and I like George Harrison's approach to the Beatles. Definitely a big influence. And really, I think the song, what I was thinking about when I was writing it was John Martin. It was the guitar work in it, you know, because the production we've ended up doing it, they're all quite big, you know. There's loads of collaborators on them, and they become big soundscapes and stuff. But when I'm performing them, most of the time I'm solo, you know. I was working as a full-time musician. I play my own songs in the sets all the time, so that's where they kind of get worked out and crafted, you know. But it's all built around this guitar pattern. It's like that sort of faux folk technique where you kind of hit the guitar, you know, use your fingers to like pull off it, so it's like a finger style thing. But that was sort of where I was coming at it from. And then that the vocal melody that's on top of that is super John Lennon, I guess. And I think similar to John Lennon, I don't always like the sound of my own voice when I'm in the studio. So I like to mask it a little bit if I could, and that was like a similar thing, isn't it? That like delay effect, which I think lends even more to that like Revolver era Beatles now.
If people listen to the debut album, they can hear that kind of depth in your sound beyond the tune we're going to play on Freshly Squeezed. But as an album, that's been out for a couple of months now.
Yes, October.
So what does it feel like when you're a few weeks post-release? Because I speak to a lot of people who are kind of like just after an album or a tune's dropped, or just before an album or a tune's dropped. But now we're a few kind of weeks on, the dust has settled, and maybe that kind of post-excitement, nervous energy is gone. How do you feel when you reflect on that release?
You know, honestly, it was just a huge learning experience. So what I'm left with is like really excited to look at some new stuff. And a lot of the songs, like, you know, there was a lot of recent sort of writing, a lot of being like revisited. But I'd basically been a musician for, you know, most of my life now. But I often played guitar in other people's bands and stuff. And then I ended up running a music venue, took me away from it. So it was only after I'd turned 30 in the lockdown that I started seriously thinking about doing some songwriting and trying to do something with it. Or, you know, at least getting all the collection together. So there's something in this album which is also like a reflection on like the last 10 years, you know.
Right.
And so it's nice to put that out. Now I'm going to promote it. We're going to, you know, put a band around it and get out and perform it. But I'm also like I feel very creatively free from having gone through the whole process, you know.
Got a treat for you before you go, Paul, because Christmas just round the corner and we've got New Music Santa. So Paul, meet New Music Santa.
Hello, Santa.
Hello, Paul. Have you been a good boy this year?
Yeah, I've really done my best, you know. I really have done my best. I've been on my best behaviour.
Well, I'd like to grant one Christmas wish for you to come true in 2026.
I will go for... God, it's hard because I feel like it's a wish. Like, does that apply to everything? Like, you could have anything? Or is it should we limit it to music?
I think I don't want to put too much pressure on you for world peace or anything like that. So I think keep it focused on music and career.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'd love to perform in Italy with the band.
Nice. Is that possible, New Music Santa?
Of course it's possible. And Father Christmas.
Good to hear. Paul, lovely to speak to you. Really enjoying the new tune. And I love that it took me into the album. And like I say, what I loved about it was the kind of depth and the storytelling that's in there. It's really cool. But thanks so much for joining me on Freshly Squeezed.
Hey, thanks so much, Jim. I'll see you next year in Pompeii.
And me. I wouldn't miss it. Good pizza there.
Thunder, surrender to your instinct. Feeling my life on the brink, the ship starts to sink, no thoughts left to think.
Love that. And do check out more of Paul's stuff. There are links in the bio because, as I said to him when I was chatting, that song is great, but when you listen to his album, there's a real depth of music. And if you like Bob Dylan, there's kind of like a modern take on his sound on there. It's really cool. Really like it. Make sure you check it out. We're going back to Europe now with our final act, a.gris, and Alex from the band hopping on the pod. Welcome to Freshly Squeezed.
Well, hello. Hello. Sorry, my English is not very good. So.
It's better than my French, as I just proved before we started by trying to pronounce a.gris and doing it horribly. So we'll get through this. We'll be fine. It's really interesting, this new project you're working on, but it's your first one as a solo artist. Previously, you've worked with the band Horses, and you said in another interview it's taken you 10 years to summon up the courage to do this as a solo project. Why now?
Yes.
What has changed?
I guess I'm getting older and little more confident, or maybe I just don't care anymore of what people think. I'm just doing this for enjoying myself. So it takes a lot of time to be able to just not be covered by a band. I don't know how to say that, but to be disguised in a band.
What does this allow you to do, this project, that you couldn't maybe do with Horses previously? Because musically, it is different, but I wouldn't say it's completely different to what you were doing with them.
Because I was writing a song too, so maybe it's the same like kind of area. But actually, I can do the same with them. But I like to focus more on guitar, acoustic guitar stuff when I'm on my own, and not worried about arranging the track for a full band. Like it's more intimate.
Has the process that you've worked on this, has it been completely isolated? Have you been on your own doing it, or have you been working with others? Has it been collaborative in any way?
Not really, but I was on my own. I was on my own. My girlfriend was abroad, so I have a lot of time to going insane on this in my cave.
The tune itself is very dark, it's very brooding, it's a foreboding feel about it, and you've dubbed it folk glitch, which I really like as a term. Is that a new musical genre you think you've created?
No, I'm not. I'm not confident enough to think of a new new genre. But no, it's just some two words who work together. I think in this project because I try to mess around with the guitar acoustic sound and make it like a computer sound with like traditional instruments. So it was making sense for me.
With the solo project, actually, we said you called it a.gris. That's the name above the door, but it is a solo project. What made you decide to go down that route and kind of give it an identity rather than maybe releasing it under the name Alex Dallamande?
Because my name is quite hard to pronounce.
As I proved.
No, because I used to work as a guitar teacher, and I don't want to be like online with my real name. But I guess it's just too late because I'm already online with my real name. So I don't know. It's just a weird choice.
So this is your debut release, but it is part of a bigger collection of work. We've got a debut EP that's going to be following next year. Is this very much setting the tone for how that's going to sound?
Not really. The track that I released is little different. The rest of the EP is more acoustic, but I think it was like a good way to open the EP with the track.
Alex, pleasure to talk to you. I'd never heard of folk glitch before, but whatever it is, I'm liking it. We're going to play Oblivion, the new tune, on Freshly Squeezed. But thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks to you.
I need some rest, so hide me on the ground. My fictive slang is like the cigarettes. These golden hours belong to my soldiers. I'm sectional, a barrel fighter. To reveal the mind of the untamed daughter. I'm skeptical, a barrel fighter. I'm road to know. I stopped trying harder. It's conditional. I'm now holding your in your gas. Look up at big stars, they shine for me. Oblivion reflecting the past and covering up old scars still left on me.
That's a.gris on Freshly Squeezed. If you want to find more, because I appreciate that's a difficult name to find, check out the links in the bio where you can click through to more from any of the acts featured on this podcast. And if you like a.gris, as you heard in the chat, Alex's non-solo project is a band called Horses, who I'd never heard before, but they're really cool and they've got a few albums out already. spelt, if you're looking for it, Hoorsees, which is, as a dyslexic, how I tend to spell horses, but I understand not everyone does. Hoorsees. If you're looking for them, check them out. Very cool. Right. Oh, you've decided to rock up now, have you, Santa? Didn't fancy popping in to speak to Alex, just the other two you wanted to check out.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm rather busy at this time of year. I just can't go and drop everything for a podcast.
Whatever, come here. Have you been on the sherry and the mince pies? Already? It's not even Christmas Eve. No wonder you were late. Okay, well, as you didn't grant Alex's wish, I guess you can grant my wish instead. I wish that everyone listening to this podcast hits the follow button in their podcast app, so they'll get an update as soon as the next episode is ready, and they'll never miss a batch of brilliant brand new music. It was like an easy wish to fulfill, that one. I also wish that they'd leave a 5-star review or a few comments so we know if they love the show and why they love the show. Because as it stands, a fraction, a slither of you guys listening to the podcast actually do that. So make that your Christmas present to me. Hit follow, hit subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review, job done. And you've got loads of time over Christmas, the Christmas perineum between Christmas and New Year, nothing to do other than what I've just asked you. Make it happen. Right, that's enough begging. I'll be back next week with a special look back at some of the best bands, acts, music and moments of Freshly Squeezed in 2025, because unbelievably we've almost been doing this a year, and I'll see you then. Cheers to your ears.
The award-winning Freshly Squeezed, a new music podcast, was devised, produced and created by Jim Salverson. Sound design and production was by Ant McGinley. He's definitely on the good list. The theme music, Blue Blazer, is by Spin Class. And they're definitely on the good list. Okay, we can stop now. Rudolph! Get the state. Come on. Gonna be a busy one.